the Wednesday class. Lovely to have you all here. I think there's a few more people hopping on quite quickly, which is great. Lovely to see you. We've got Sarah in the chat, so if you've got any questions or you missed what I've just said, hopefully Sarah can help you out there. Hello everyone. Hi Jane in Gloucestershire. Well, it's July, but it's quite drizzly and cold in Norwich. But I'm sure the sunshine will come back soon. It's kind of a nice break for the gardens. Okay, how are we doing? Great. Lots of people here this morning, which is wonderful. So before we get going with moving and finding our lovely point of the week, which is a U or a shoe point, which is on the back of the body, I just wanted to check in with a couple of polls. One of them is, how are you coping? So I'll share that with you now. Are you coping well? Are you okay? About neutral? Are you stressed? Or are you very stressed? Or maybe there's something else that best describes how you're doing today. Let's have a little look. Okay. Thank you, Jane, for letting us know about the slight delay. That's good to know. Lovely. Okay, let's have a little look at this poll. So most of you are okay, but there's 22% in the stressed category. So hopefully within an hour, we can all kind of shift to the okay and coping well or feeling less stressed. Wonderful. I've got one more poll to do, but before we do that, I thought we could tune into our breath, have a little scan in the body, and if you want to, I've got a little paper and pen at the ready. If you want to make an energetic drawing or scribble before we decide how our scan is this morning, then I thought we could give that a go. So if you need to, grab some pen and paper. Oh, lovely. I've just seen in the chat you've baked the chocolate beetroot and ginger cake. Oh, wonderful. I haven't made that for a while. I think you've inspired me to remake it. So finding a lovely place to sit. Maybe it's on the floor or on a chair. You can sit kneeling in Seiza or in cross-legged, whatever's comfortable for you. Maybe on a cushion if you need a little bit more support. And just having a little moment to wiggle and adjust. Maybe it's under in the shoulders or taking a nice yawn. Releasing the arms and the head and neck and finding that lovely place just to gently settle in your body. Lovely. And you can either rest your hands on your legs, or I prefer one hand on the chest and one hand on the belly. So do whatever feels comfortable for you with your arms and hands. And we're just going to tune in to the breath, not necessarily changing it. You can have your eyes closed if that feels comfortable. If not, just have a very soft gaze, just so we can start to relax the eyes and the muscles around the eyes a little bit more. So tuning into the lower belly and the chest with our hands if they're there. And just noticing where the breath is. Does it tickle in at the nostrils? Is it pouring down the throat at the front? Or perhaps it's coming into the top of the chest. Maybe you're noticing it in around the kind of middle of the diaphragm, kind of where the solar plexus is, and into the ribs. Or maybe your breath's coming down into the belly. Lovely. And you can either keep your hands on the chest and belly or rest them on the legs. And we're just going to take a scan through our whole body, starting above the head. So imagining we're in our energetic egg. So you know when someone's come way too close in that queue in the supermarket, they've come too close, they're in your egg of energy. So scanning through this area and a little bit beneath you as well into the ground. So starting at the top of the head and noticing what's going on. Maybe it's a physical thing. Maybe we're noticing it's kind of zappy or buzzy or fizzy or very quiet. Maybe it's more on an emotional level. We're going to start to scan down to the top of the head, noticing how this area feels. And if touching that area helps to notice what's going on, please feel free to do that if you don't want to trace it in your mind's eye. And then scanning down the face, the skull, the brain, maybe your mind as well, noticing what's going on. Scanning down to the neck, the throat, all the vertebrae, till we meet the shoulder girdle at the top, the lovely collarbone, scapula, shoulder joints. Let's scan down the arms, all the way to the hands and fingertips. Noticing if there's anything physically there or energetically or maybe on an emotional level. We're going to come back to the chest, to the rib cage, front and back and in the sides, up into the armpits. Just noticing what's going on. Or maybe everything's feeling pretty delightful this Wednesday morning into July. Maybe there's a freshness and a quietness to this week. And then scanning down into the belly and the lower back. Noticing, what's going on there? Just had a little flowy up to the chest when I connected to the belly. So maybe you notice other things going on. Checking into the lower back. All the organs in our body. Scanning down into the pelvis and noticing if there's anything that's kind of caught your attention. And then down into the hips and the long femur bones, the muscles, into the knee joints, the lower legs, ankles, feet. And then that space beneath you, even if you're sitting, so there's a space right beneath you that connects in to the ground, noticing how that is as well. And then just seeing if there was anywhere maybe is tight or blocked, or maybe feeling a little bit like weak in energy. And then very gently, if you have your hands on your body, gently taking them away, opening your eyes very slowly, take your time. And if you wish to, and you have your paper with you, you can make a little energetic drawing of how you're doing this morning. I think I'm all a bit blocked in the head, but maybe you're feeling pretty smooth and okay this morning. Okay. So just seeing how you're doing. Doesn't even matter what it looks like. That's wonderful. There's lots of people chatting on the chat. Jane, yes, that chocolate cake with strawberries and coconut yogurt. That sounds wonderful. I've had breakfast, but that's making me hungry again. I'll show you my strange drawing. I somewhat look like an alien today. So there's lots of blocks around the head, something going on in my ears, a fullness, very nice and grounded in my pelvis, but connecting into the dantian, the lower dantian. I had a flurry up to the heart. So just seeing what that feels like or looks like for you. Don't worry if you haven't drawn anything. I'm just going to share a short poll, see if I can find it here. There's quite a lot of polls on here, so I need to have a little look. Here we go. Which best describes your scan? Do you feel well balanced? Do you feel blocked or obstructed, weak or tired, hot or agitated, cold or frozen? Well, maybe there's a little bit of two things going on. I mean, for me, I feel a little bit blocked and obstructed and maybe a bit weak and tired. But at the same time, I feel all right as well. So maybe there's a couple going on. So choose the one that feels most present. Wonderful. Oh, thank you for that, Jane. That's great. Thanks for the link. Great. Okay. Most of you, the highest percentage of what's coming out is weak or tired. That's 42% weak and tired. 17% of you feel well and balanced. Wonderful. 17% feel blocked or obstructed, and 25% feel hot or agitated. Okay, so we're going to work to get the body moving and the Qi field moving as well. So hopefully if you're hot and agitated, we can cool off and feel calmer. If we're blocked or obstructed, we can release the blockage. And if we're weak or tired, we can kind of cultivate some energy for ourselves. And if you're well and balanced, we can continue to stay well and balanced. Lovely. Snap. Also blocked and weak. It's strange sometimes, isn't it, how you can have a few of these things going on, not just one thing at all. All right, so actually, I was going to come up to standing, but since there's a lot of you weak and tired, come to sitting, whether that be on the floor or on a chair. And before we come to our point of the week, there's the most delicious point that we always love, kidney 1. So in between the second and third metatarsal, underneath the ball of the foot, right in the center there. So we can use kind of fingertips pressing up into the ball of the foot with some lovely energy. Or maybe you want to take a hold of your foot like this and connect it in with a thumb. And if this point's feeling at all tight or tender, we can rub the hands together and then just hold the foot, top and bottom. So on the top of the foot and underneath the sole of the foot as well. I'm just sending some lovely energy in there. I'm going to move my foot like this. I think it needs some support, lots of nourishing. So if you're feeling weak and tired, send lots of breath into this point, imagining we're breathing through the arms into the fingertips and sending the breath through and up into this point. If we're feeling hot and agitated, you might really want to press a little bit firmer to release this and really allow ourselves to become more grounded. Same with if we're blocked as well or feeling obstructed. You might feel that sedating the point and helping to kind of wake it up this point a little bit more will help. So seeing what feels good in this area. Does it need soft breath attention or something a little stronger? Lovely. And then gently releasing that foot. Might want to wiggle the toes. We'll take a hold of the other foot. So taking your time. And noticing, my right foot feels very different. Noticing the difference between your feet. So maybe one feels quite cracky and stiff like my right foot, or perhaps you've got really lovely smooth feet this morning. So same thing, maybe sending some breath through the arms, imagining we're breathing into that point through the fingertips or the thumb. Or if that's very tender, rubbing the hands together and taking a hold of the foot either side, top and bottom. That's great. Supporting that lovely bubbling spring. Wonderful. So yeah, having a good go in that. Oh, my right foot really needs some moving today. So just seeing what feels good in your body and what needs moving. Wonderful. Ooh, great. All right. So very gently from here, we're going to take our time to come to sitting, but there's no sitting, standing, but there's no rush. I'm just going to come back to the chat. Okay, everyone's doing all right. Wonderful. Good. Smiley vibes. You're welcome, James. So we've got our lovely kidney one nice and open. We're going to come gently up to standing. And how is it just to drop the toes into the ground and find the heels with a little bit of weight. So we don't want to be too far forward, so we're putting too much pressure on the back and the upper legs. We're finding some weight in those heels as well. Lovely. Padding the feet in the ground. This seems like a very simple thing to do, but research recently has shown that padding the feet really helps the nervous system to switch into the parasympathetic nervous system, so we can start to calm down and feel much more relaxed. So this is really good if we're feeling anxious or quite nervous. I guess that's why if we do get nervous or agitated, perhaps like pacing kind of comes into play. So maybe that's why we do it. You know, we're self-regulating our nervous system, then padding the feet in the ground. Lovely. And then just gently allowing them to settle. So nice long legs, soft ankles, knees and hips. Great. And then just seeing how the shoulders feel. Have a little roll round of the shoulders. Easy breath. Lovely. Wiggling the arms out. Great. Maybe giving the hands a little bit of a shake. Lovely. Very gentle if we want. Or perhaps if you're feeling a little bit blocked and agitated, this is where we can really shake off what we don't need. I'm going to go for a little bit less today, but you can really go for it if that feels needed. So up into the forearms and the elbows. Doesn't matter what it looks like, we're going for the rubber arms. Into the elbows and upper arms. Yeah, great. And then if we've got any shoulder issues, neck issues, keep the arms low. If it feels okay, keep the arms going wherever feels comfortable, just to kind of wiggle them around. Lovely. And then very gently releasing the arms. So having a good old shake out. Wonderful. So we've done fingertips and arms. We're going to come to the head. So just taking the head to look from one side to the other and just going as far as is comfortable with the neck. So if you feel it's kind of biting on our sternocleidomastoid muscle, make the angle of which we're looking much less. So very gently sweeping the head from side to side. If you want to, you can release the face and give a good old shake out. I'm not going to do that today. It doesn't feel okay for me to do, but if that's what you feel like you need to do and make a good old noise, please do. Lovely. And then very gently bringing this movement of the head back to the center. We're going to allow this to kind of shift down like a timer with sand inside. And it's shifting all the way down into the pelvis. We're going to soften the knees and allow the hips to wiggle from side to side. So this is going to connect in with our point of the week. So we're going to find it in a moment so that we can come back to it later and see what this point's doing, see if anything's shifted. Just having a little wiggle with the hips, we can soften in the front so we can allow a little bit of the torso to lean forward. Nice and easy in the hip flexors. And we've still got weight in the heels. Lovely. And maybe your movement feels nice to go quite big and large and deeper in the joints. Or perhaps today it's keeping it quite small and easy. with nice long legs, but still easy in the joints, soft in the joints. Lovely. Wonderful. And then maybe you want to stay here. Maybe you want to shift your pelvis back underneath your spine. And we're going to take the knees and hips from side to side like a fishtail. So softening in the knees a little bit more. And then maybe we can shake the tail feather out. Ooh, and the arms are easy and the spine's just going for a nice ride. Having a little wiggle and a shake out. Ooh, allowing things to shift. To tonify if they feel weak. And to shake out if they feel obstructed. And if we're agitated, wow, maybe there's some noise to come out as well. Lovely. And then gently coming back to an easy movement. Wonderful. And then from here, we're going to shift the weight into one leg. Maybe you want a wall or a chair to lean on. We're going to shift the weight into one leg and we're going to start with the foot, giving the foot and toes a good old shake out. Wonderful. See if we can get those, all the toes and the lower foot underneath the sole of the foot to release in the heel. You might want to change the angle of the leg and you can put the foot down and pick it up whenever feels comfortable. So into the ankle, giving a good shake out. The lower leg. Oh yeah, knee needs that today. Into the knee and then coming up into the thigh. Ooh. Great. And then into the hip socket. So we can make sure we've got space around us. You can either take the leg for a nice swing, or if that feels uncomfortable, particularly on your lower back, soften in that standing leg, rest the heel on the ground and wiggle the whole leg in the hip socket. So do whichever feels good or a little bit of both. You can also do that heel wiggle sitting. Wonderful. And then shaking that leg out. We're going to shift into that lovely leg that we shifted and shaken out. And we're going to move to the other side. So seeing if that foot can release, releasing the toes, maybe changing the angle of the leg, seeing what feels good. Into the ankle. We're still breathing. Yeah. Into the lower leg and the knee. Ooh, yes, my knees today. That did not come up in the scan. So maybe you're noticing something as we shake that didn't come up in your scan earlier. Into the knee and thigh. Great. And then coming all the way up into the hip. And the same thing again. Either swinging the leg forward and back, and it can be low. It doesn't have to be that high. Or resting the foot on the ground, softening in that supporting leg. Having a little wiggle in the hip socket. Wonderful. So do whatever feels good. And then gently, how are we doing? Ooh, time's flying this morning. Coming to find our feet on the ground again. Wonderful. And then maybe just tuning in to how we're doing. Are things shifting already? And my head's feeling much clearer. It's like this cloud. Thunderstorm cloud starting to shift, which is really nice. And I've still got this nice connection between my dantian and heart. So whatever there was there for you when we first tuned in, just noticing what's going on. Maybe the tightness has started to leave. Maybe it hasn't, and that's okay. Great. I just want to check the chat. I think we're doing all right. Yes, good. Wonderful. So from here, I thought that we could do a really beautiful connection into the water element. I know, strange, it's summer, because the point of the week is the bladder channel, and it's bladder 28. Actually, let's connect in with that, and then we'll do our movement. So I'll show where the point of the week is. Here we are, bladder 28. I'm not going to pronounce its Chinese name, but it's a bladder shu point, which also has the same name as yu point. So shu is Chinese, yu is Japanese, and it means that they're on the back of the body. It's a really lovely point that regulates the bladder, benefits the lumbar region, the lower back, and the legs. So as you can see, it's on the sacrum. It's a little bit difficult to find yourself. I always find it much easier when treating. Finding it on somebody else is far easier, but we can still find it. So the easiest thing to do is to find the sides of your hips. So the iliac crest are like butterfly wing. So if the thumbs are at the back, so we're going to find where the iliac crest kind of enters into the sacrum, our sacroiliac joint, which is here. And we're going to find the top of the sacrum, and we're going to go, there's one little hole, and we're going to drop into the second notch into the sacrum. If you're not sure and you can't find it at all, even just giving this area a little bit of a rub really helps. I'm going to give you the exact specific location anatomically. So 1.5 sun, which is a sun is your thumb width, 1.5 of your thumb width lateral to the midline. So we will go 1.5 out, so either side of the spine, but into the sacrum. At the level of the second posterior sacral foramen. So it's little holes in the sacrum. So these bones are fused together. So imagining the gap between the vertebrae, and it's the second one down. So we've got the top of the sacrum, got a first little hole, and then we're into the second one. And this is our bladder 28. I'm just going to read a little bit of what it does. It's wonderful energetic function. If you want to, using the kind of thumb and curled up index finger, we can kind of rub around this area. Or we can use the thumb, so finding the iliac crest, top of the sacrum is here, and we're just going to drop down into one hole here, into the second hole, either side of the spine, so 1.5 sun out. So seeing what feels good, it might even be just resting the hands over the sacrum is also another way to connect to that. So breathing into this point, and I'm just going to read its functions and image. So the name refers to its point relationship to the bladder. The hollow suggests a container or conveyor through which circulating Qi or Qi passes. Its functions to regulate the bladder and water pathways. It clears heat and resolves damp heat, particularly of the bladder. So things like painful urinary dysfunction, urinary incontinence, urinary with seminal discharge, urinary tract infections, blood in the urine, anything like swelling or pain in the genital area, this point's also really good for, any lower abdominal pain and distension, constipation and diarrhea. So it really connects in with a lot of the pelvic floor muscles and organs. This point strengthens your lower back. So if there's any sacral or sacroiliac joint pain, stiffness, it's really good for sciatica. If there's a cold in the lower back or in the extremities in the legs. It's also really good to help expel stones. So lower urinary tract stones, this point really good for clearing that. So let's come up to standing if we haven't already. So we're just going to move the hands. So using the thumb and index finger side again, just having a little rub round the sacrum. And we've still got our feet nicely connected into the ground. You can do this sitting on a chair as well, if that's easier for you. And then from here, we're going to move our hands up to find our kidneys. So drawing up either side of the spine. So just above the waistline, we have our kidneys sitting in the back of the body. So you can rest the palms of the hands around here. just for a moment. You know, if you're tired, this kind of area we want to kind of hold and support. So same thing again, we're going to take index finger and thumb area, make little fists, very loose, and connect in to our kidneys. And we're going to circle and go up and out. Keep the knees soft. And we're going to do little circles to help warm, tonify this area. We're set to, this old Chinese text that you're meant to do this 88 times. I'm not counting, we're just going to go for a little while. Easy breath. Again, you can do this sitting. Just allowing the shoulders to be easy. If you can't reach this for any shoulder issues, very nice to put a hot water bottle in this area. I know it's July, but we can also do hot water bottles still. So circling this area, releasing the lower back, the kidneys, strengthening the lower jiao or the lower burning space. Wonderful. Easy breath. I don't know what number we've got up to, but very gently just going to release that. Gently holding the kidneys again with the palm of the hands. And then how is it just to brush down into the sacrum, from the lower back into the sacrum. Wonderful. Lower back into the sacrum. Great. And then releasing the arms, maybe giving them a shake if they feel quite tight from all that rotating. Then we're going to come to standing very gently. So we've had a good old shake out, and we've already found our kidney one. We've found our point of the week, and we've strengthened the kidneys already. So we're going to get into this wonderful Qi Gong. I love it so much, particularly the imagery. I think it was Nicola Lay taught me this one, and we're imagining that we're in water, maybe up to our waist or kind of knees, but it's warm, calm water, maybe in the sea, or perhaps a beautiful pool, and everything's calm and tranquil. We've got our feet nicely connected, maybe into the bottom of the pool or digging into the sand in the sea. Lovely. And what we're going to do is allowing space in at the armpits, and we're soft in the ankles, knees and hips. We're going to scoop with one arm. I'm going to start with the right, and we're going to scoop down into the water and take it over to one side. And we're going to lengthen through the legs and drawing the hand all the way up above the head and imagining that that water's dropping onto the forehead and rolling down the back. So it's cleansing, clearing and purifying the spine. And then we release the arm back to the side to find the top of the water again. And then the same with the other arm. So softening down, scooping into the warm waters to cleanse and purify. Then the arm comes up, drops the water and washes down the back and then releases. Lovely. So we can do this with our breath. So we're alternating the arms, scooping down, breathing in, washing the spine all the way down to the tailbone and breathing out, releasing the arm. Same thing again, softening the knees, breathing in, scooping this gorgeous water up. Maybe the sun's shining, and as we breathe out and make a rainbow through the water that reflects the prisms. Lovely. Breathing in and breathing out, releasing the arm. So I'll be quiet for a moment so you can really draw in this lovely energy, the feet connected into the ground, strengthening the legs and the lower back. I'm going to do once more on each side. Making this one the last one, either side of the body. And then because we didn't quite get enough, we're going to do both arms down the center. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see. So you can either keep the water in at the waist height and soften the knees and scoop the water up here and drawing and opening the arms to the side. Or perhaps the tide's gone out a little bit and we're coming down to the knees or coming down to the ankles. So kind of scooping up the water at whatever level feels good for you and your back. And we can alternate the crossing of the arms in front as well. If not, don't worry at all. We're just scooping this water, breathing it in, and then breathing out, releasing the arms and strengthening the whole spine and back of the body. So drawing in, releasing the head and neck. Scooping that water and it's spraying these gorgeous prisms of rainbows in the sun. Cleansing the back, strengthening the back of the legs. Lovely, we'll do a couple more of these. Breathing in, breathing out, releasing. Breathing in. One more, breathing in. Lovely, and then breathing out. And then we're just going to stand here for a moment, finding our kidney one into the ground, maybe the sand bed under the sea. The knees and ankles are soft, the hips are wide and open. There's space in the spine, nice and tall. The arms are easy, spacing at the armpits, relaxed hands and fingers. And the throat and neck's nice and easy as well. And the top of the head's just floating towards the sky. We're just going to place the hands left over right on the belly. So just below the belly button to our dantian, our center. And we're just going to send some breath here into the belly. So we're going to start to connect in with this lovely point that we found, bladder 28. So from the belly, we can send the energy all the way back there. You can close your eyes if that feels okay. Maybe taking deeper breaths as we breathe in through the nose and breathe out through the mouth. We'll take one more deep breath in here. And breathing out. And returning to a natural, easy breath. I'm just going to circle the hands around the belly. So from the right hip to the right ribs, across the top to the left, and then down to the left hip. The way the digestive system runs. So what's that? I guess clockwise. Always confuses me, but yes, right hip to the left, ribs this direction. So circling and releasing the belly and all the organs that we've got here, making space for them. Lovely. And we're slowly going to start to draw that movement and circle, spiraling it into the center of us. All the way until our hands rest on our dantian again. Taking your time. Lovely. Allowing the hands gently to settle below the belly button. Wonderful. And then when you're ready, just gently releasing the hands, seeing how we are. And if you want to stay standing for this next bit, we're going to come to some channels in the head, you can, or maybe you want to come and sit, rest the legs for a moment. How are we doing? Wonderful. Oh, the chat's quite quiet now. Great. All right, so we're going to find some of the points, and we can either use gentle tapping with loose fingers or wrists, or kind of gently pressing in with the flat part of the hand on the forehead. So we're going to start, I'll get a little bit closer, we're going to start into the bladder channel, which starts either side of the eye, and we find the point all the way into 28 in the back earlier. We're going to find it again later. So very gently with the fingertips, so gentle little circles kind of up and outwards. You can close your eyes, so we're just finding this lovely beginning of the bladder channel. So if we're tired, actually if we're blocked and agitated or hot as well, sometimes this can affect the eyes. So giving these little corners of the eye a little rub. Great. Actually, do you know what? Before we find the channel over the head, there's something really nice for the eyes to do to benefit the eye. So we're circling here. Great, and then we're going to move to the outer corner of our eyes, and we're going to do the same thing, circling, gentle little circles up and out, taking our time. Don't have to do too many. Going to help brighten the eyes, release any tension in the head. Lovely. And then from here, what we're going to do is rest the thumbs either side of the outside of the eyes, and then our index fingers are going to curl, and we're going to use this flat edge to help release tension around the eyes and underneath. So we'll start with the top part, so resting the fingers on the top of the, so I'll show it once, obviously, then you can see what's going on the top of the eyelids, and then we're going to make an arc to meet the thumb, and then back again. We're going to do that 9 times. So we're going to go 1 in the center and out, 2 in the center and out, 3 into the center and out, 4, easy breath, 5, 6, 7, 8, last one, 9, and meeting the thumb again. Now we're going to go underneath, keeping the thumb either side. Yeah, checking your shoulders, mine creeped up, nice and relaxed. We're going to do the same underneath. So I'll show quickly once underneath to the middle corner of the eye, just here, like that, and then out again. So we'll do that 9 times again. So easy breath in and out. 2, 3, nicely brightening the eyes. 4, 5, 6, 7, lovely, 8, 9, and closing. And then from here, we're just going to release the thumbs from either side of the eyes. Hopefully they're feeling a little bit brighter. We're going to do fingertips, gently tapping, I'll turn sideways, in front of the eyebrow. And we're going to do our Mohican onto the top of the forehead, top of the head, easy wrists, gently tapping either side of the head to find the occipital ridge. So I'm going to turn around completely. So you might want to do that again. So tapping from the forehead all the way up and down, over the head, either side of the spine, into that occipital ridge here. Still the bladder channel, and then down into the neck. Lovely. Great, so we've contacted the bladder. Let's have a little look at the stomach. So the other opposite end of the eye. So straight from the pupil down onto the cheekbones, just very light pressure, or maybe pressing feels easier for you than tapping. And then underneath the cheekbones, release the jaw. And then onto the jaw, and then very gently we're going to stroke down the front of the throat, so gently lifting up the chin ever so gently. Lovely. We'll do that once more, either side of the, underneath of the eyes, onto the cheekbones, allowing everything to draw downwards. It's the energy of the stomach channel drawing down and then stroking onto the throat. Lovely. And then we're going to come to the chest, so just brushing the chest downwards into the stomach channel. Great. And then from here, we're going to take a hold of one arm, one elbow across the front, and then this one's going to tap across the top of the shoulder. There's a point partway through on the gallbladder. Don't tap it too hard, particularly if you're pregnant. So if you are, just maybe giving a hand on the top of the shoulder instead. It's a good point for labour. So if anyone is pregnant and they need their baby to come out, it's a good point to release that. But otherwise, avoid it. But for everybody else who isn't, we can give it a good tap, releasing the top of the shoulder. Great. And then we're going to do the same the other side, taking a hold of the other elbow, releasing the top of the shoulder and neck. Lovely. All right, I'm going to come back up to standing again. So if you're sitting, you can also come back to standing. We're going to come all the way up. So we've kind of tapped and opened the eyes, the shoulders. We're just going to come to the chest, either palms of the hands or loose fists, or fingertips if it's feeling sensitive. And we go either side of the chest, gently tapping around the breast tissue, into the side of the ribs. And then we're going to move to the back and side into the kidneys, and then down into the sacrum. We're going to soften the knees, dropping the head forward. We're going to come down, right down the midline of the legs into the bladder channel and up the inside to find our dantian. So tapping down the outside of the legs, all the way to little toe, and then thinking of kidney 1, we're going to come all the way up, softening the knees and arm curl to find the dantian. Wonderful. So round the hips, softening the knees, finding that sacrum, that bladder 28, and then going down the midline. Keep the knees soft, releasing the head into the little toe, and then thinking of kidney 1, covering up the insides of the legs into dantian. Let's do that once more if that feels okay. If you feel a bit dizzy, stay standing. So tapping around the back again, all the way down the backs of the legs. Release the head and neck. Lovely, into kidney 1, and then tapping all the way back up into dantian. Finding that left over right again, rubbing the belly in our circle. Hopefully feeling a little bit more refreshed and released. Actually, my ears have just popped, so that feels much better. Great. And then again, we're just going to find this lovely point, point of the week. So rolling the hands till they gently settle underneath the belly button. So as you're still doing that, I'm just going to bring up the slide again so you can see what it looks like. Here we are, bladder 28. Really good for strengthening the lower back, helping any urinary issues. So we're going to roll the hands over the side of the hips, finding the sacrum, and we're going to go down. I like to use my thumb. I'm going to go down one little nudge in the sacrum and then into the second one. Very good for strengthening the rest of the legs. It's good for the knees as well, actually. If you can't find it, just have a little rub of that sacrum with the thumb and index finger area on the hand. It's not an easy one to find on yourself. Great, having a little connect. Maybe it's resting the hands over the sacrum or using the thumbs in this lovely point and sending the breath in. Bladder's hollow. Wonderful. And releasing that nice and gently. Great. So I'm just going to stop sharing that for a moment. Wonderful. Oh, Good. I'm glad the eyes felt really good. I know our point of the week is in the sacrum, but obviously the bladder channel starts at the eyes in the corner and runs all the way down to the little toe. So it's nice to connect in with that together. So from here, I thought we could come back to sitting, maybe on a cushion. Time flies on a Wednesday morning. So finding a spot similar to where we started, but maybe we're feeling much different already. I can definitely feel a change, which is great. Ears have popped, the clouds have started to shift, and there's still that lovely connection between the belly and the heart. So maybe for you, things have started to shift as well. And again, if you need to kind of wiggle and take your time to settle, just allowing that time for you to do so. We're just going to allow the hips to release and that sacrum's dropping down towards the ground. You can do this sitting as well on a chair. You don't have to sit on the floor. Wonderful. Then we're just going to take the fingertips either side. So if we are on the floor, they might lightly touch the ground. If we're sitting on a chair, they're just kind of floating in the air. Just going to draw the hands all the way up, breathing in. They're going to meet at the top above the head, fingertips touching. Breathing in. Excuse me, breathing out and lowering the arms. And it's like the spine's growing taller as the arms come down. So breathing in. If you want to, you can look at the hands at the top if the neck feels okay. And then breathing out, opening the arms, lengthening the spine. You can do this standing if sitting's uncomfortable. Breathing in. And as we breathe out, it's that the head grows and the spine grows longer. The sacrum's dropping towards the ground, so there's space in the whole back. Breathing in. Breathing out, releasing the arms. Lovely. We'll do one more if that feels okay. Breathing in. And then breathing out, releasing, growing the spine as the arms draw down. And then having relaxed arms, they can either rest on the legs, or if that feels comfortable, one hand on the chest and one hand on the belly. So do whatever feels good for you. We're going to close our eyes if that feels comfortable, or something has shifted. Excuse me, or a soft gaze so we can relax the eyes again. So if there's any yawning or burping going on, that's not a bad thing. Things are clearing and shifting out. Easy breath. And again, we're just going to notice our breath in the body. Maybe something's changed. Yes, for me, my diaphragm's much easier, less tight, much more space. Hopefully, it feels easier for you to breathe as well. And then again, we're just going to scan the body. Don't worry about what it looked like before. So above the head and in your mind's eye, drawing down and noticing how the head and skull is, and the mind, brain, the spine around the neck, the throat. Just going a little bit swifter onto the shoulder girdle, the armpits, the arms, all the way to the fingertips. The rest of the spine running down from the thoracic all the way to the tailbone, the rib cage, the organs, noticing your belly, diaphragm, into the sacrum, that gorgeous point we've tuned into, bladder 28. Noticing the hips, seeing how you're doing now, and then into the legs, hip sockets, femur, knees, lower legs, into the ankles, and all the way to the soles of the feet and tips of the toes. And then just going a little bit further, that space beneath you in your auric egg, noticing how that feels. Is there a change or isn't there? Doesn't matter either way. Lovely. And then just allowing that to gently ebb away. If you've got your eyes closed, you might just want to gently open them. And if your hands are resting on your chest and belly, you can gently let that go. How are we doing? Great. I'm just going to pop a little poll up for you to see how you're doing now. And I wanted one last thing to do before we closed the session. Lots of polls on here. Here we are. How are you doing now? How are you feeling now? More balanced or about the same, particularly if you felt well and balanced before? Do you feel less balanced? I hope not, but you never know. That sometimes can happen. Great. Oh, 100% more balanced. Wonderful. That's pretty cool. Great. So if you want to stay sitting or come to lying down, I just wanted to read this visualization connecting to our bones. And in Chinese medicine, the kidneys and the bladder connecting with our bones in the body. And because this point, bladder 28, is so nice in that little nook of the sacrum. So lying down if you want to, or maybe just standing or sitting. You can just let these words waft over you as we finish. So imagining you have no bones. One by one, let your bones soften and disappear. Letting go the small bones of your hands and feet. Letting the ribs melt between front and back. And let the length of the spine dissolve. And the long bones of the arms and legs are slowly vanishing. And sense how your body's weight softens and falls. Sensing the weight as liquid, spilling and spreading out. And let in the drifts and tides of your breath into the fluid depths of the body, sensing gravity and the slow mass of the earth beneath you, supporting and turning. And very slowly, one by one, we're going to replace those bones. We're going to put them back, 24 small bones into the pathway of the spine, 5 deep bones fusing into the sacrum, and the tiny curling bones of the tail, the coccyx. Sense the length of your spine spreading throughout your whole back. Replace the long bones into the center of your arms and legs and open the length of the limbs. Replace the curved bones of your ribs, pelvis, and head. Sense the roundness, depth, and volume. Let your breath fill into the marrow of your bones, sensing the geology of their form. And let the bone be as land within the liquid flow of your body. Let the hardness of the ground meet the firm edges of your bones. Oh, lovely. Just allowing those words to kind of float over you. Now you've replaced all your bones back. Wonderful. Lovely to have you all here. Yes, of course, go if you need to go. I'm really glad. Oh, Simonetta, that's lovely that your body is now softer and soul is lighter. Wonderful. Have a lovely rest of your day, everybody. Oh, Elaine, thank you. I'm glad. A soothing voice. Hopefully we can all have an easy rest of our day. I'm going to put a heart in the chat. And Sarah, thank you very much for being on the chat as well. Have a lovely rest of your day. I'm going to close the session down, and I don't know who's back. Someone will be here next week for the session for you. Brilliant. It's been a different. Okay. Oh, Angie, you're very welcome. It's lovely to have you here. Have a lovely day and see you all soon.